Now, for anyone trying to lose weight, there are two ways to do it. The first is the scientific way that works around the numbers, that works around the macro counts and the calorie counts. The second way, if you're a beginner, is the more practical way, in my opinion. And this is called correct dieting mentality. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, when it comes to correct dieting mentality, there are two aspects to it, in my opinion. The first aspect is what I call the chip away mentality. The second aspect is what I call macro vision. Now, let's talk about the first aspect, the chip away mentality first. So basically, it just involves chipping away a bad part of your diet one step at a time. I remember when I was fat, and this goes for anyone who's overweight and trying to lose weight. I'm sure you guys are doing some wrong things in your diet that even you're aware of. I'm sure that you know that you're probably eating a lot of dessert or a lot of rice. And what's more important is that you know that you need to cut those out. So I'm not telling you guys to cut all of them together. You can't expect to start a drastic diet and just lose weight through that diet. Human brains don't work like that. Human brains work by tapering themselves into systems. And this system is one of the best, in my opinion, if you're trying to lose weight. So what I did initially when I was at my fattest, I chose to cut out one single thing. And that one single thing was sugar. Now, key point to be noted here is that unless you have some kind of an iron will, you can't cut it out completely. You have to taper it out. So the method to taper it out is that initially you should look at, instead of consuming sugar every day, try consuming it every alternate day. Once that's comfortable, you try consuming it once in 3 days and then make it once in a week and eventually just cut it out. Even after desserts and sugar, which are some of the most unhealthy foods, there's a long list of foods that are actually really bad for you. The same concept can be applied to simple carbohydrates, can be applied to processed foods, can be applied to junk food in general. I've been gymming for about 3.5 years, and till today, I still use this chip away method. I still try cleaning up my diet one step at a time. Now let's talk about the second aspect of correct dieting mentality, macro vision. Now, I know it sounds like a superpower, but trust me, if you use it right, it's as good as having a superpower. Now, if you see anyone who's gymming, anyone who's been into fitness for a while, they'll never look at food as food. Looking at food as food is one of the most common mistakes that unhealthy people make. When they order a plate of nachos, all they see is nachos. They see all that lovely cheese sauce and those chips. If you ask a gymmer what they see when they order a plate of nachos, it's always carbs from the chips and fat from the cheese and trace protein, a little bit, here and there from maybe the beans and a bit from the cheese. But primarily it's all about carbs and fat. Whenever gymmers, fitness professionals, or even just fitness conscious people look at food, they're not looking at food as just food. They're breaking it down into 3 macros: carbs, fat, protein. So they look at food and they go, okay, how much protein am I getting from this? How much carbs am I getting from this? How much fat am I getting from this? And accordingly, they calculate their macros for the day. Now, personally, I don't calculate my own exact macros, but I have a rough estimate in my head. If you're a complete beginner in fitness, a great way to start is just by having protein as the center of your meals. It should start with skim milk paneer, or it should be centered around a chicken breast or some egg whites or some lean source of protein like that. And then you can accompany that with a little bit of complex carbs. That's also super important. And ideally, if you're trying to lose weight, you shouldn't have any out and out fat source in your meals. Even if it's a really healthy fat source like nuts or avocado, try to avoid it just to save on those calories. Remember, from the lean source of protein, you're also getting some trace fats. And just to cook a chicken breast or to cook an egg white omelette, you need to use some amount of oil. So that some amount of oil is good enough fat macros for you. Now that's one aspect of macro vision. But the second aspect is the more fun aspect. If you know your macro vision right, you can actually afford to have some amount of junk food in your diet and not get fat. Okay, so let me explain this with an example. So suppose it's your friend's birthday and they offer you cake. So you end up having that cake and it's a really beautiful cake, but keep in mind it's got really high fat macros and really high carb macros. Now remember, everyone's got macro limits and you're allowed to only have X amount of carbs or Y amount of fat, and that cake is actually filling up those macro limits quite a bit. So you want to make up for having that cake. So for the rest of the day, you're going to avoid your carbs and your fat and just concentrate on your protein macros. This is basic macro knowledge 101. If you want to take it even further, say suppose you had 3 slices of cake instead of just 1 and you've gone way above your fat and carb macros for that particular day, you can make up for it by not having carbs and fats the next day. Remember, you'll only put on weight when your average weekly calorie and macro intake is over a certain amount. So you have 7 days in the week. If Monday's been a bad dieting day, for Tuesday and Wednesday, make sure you eat clean to make up for Monday. This is the basic benefit of having correct macro vision. You can manipulate your diet and still stay at the same weight. Or even better, if you do this for a prolonged time, if you keep reducing your carbs and fats macros and just concentrate on your protein, you'll end up losing weight. Hey guys, so that was the video for today. I hope you guys liked it. Now this past week, I launched one of my most important videos till date. It's the introductory video to the BB Summer Weight Loss Challenge. I've decided that I'm going to be giving you guys a written diet plan and a written workout plan to help you lose weight. So make sure you check out the introductory video to the BB Summer Weight Loss Program. Either way, if you like today's video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, remember to subscribe to Beer Biceps, and if possible, share it with your friends. Remember guys, I can only grow if you help me grow. So make sure you share this on all those WhatsApp groups and Facebook. Either way, until next time, if you want to follow my personal fitness journey, you can follow me on these handles and make sure you like my Facebook page as well. So until next time guys, from Beer Biceps, see you.